for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree? You're knowing what you are wanting? You are understanding that you are the creator of your experience. You are among the rare humans who have come to appreciate the contrast of your time and place. Oh yes, oh yes. More contrast. You are understanding that you are vibrational beings and that you are living in a vibrational universe. And the basis of this creative haven is law of attraction. Are you beginning to understand that what you are thinking and what you are feeling and what you are getting is always a vibrational match? As we visit with our physical friends and we talk about this vibrational universe in which you are focused, sometimes, especially in the beginning of the discussion, the idea of being vibrational beings feels a little uncomfortable, even though you are magnificent vibrational beings. You are much more vibrational, you are much more energy, you are much more non-physical, meaning non-seen, non-heard, non-smelled, non-tasted, non-touched energy than you are the flesh, blood, and bone beings that you see. But you have done such an extraordinary job of evolving to this place of being masterful interpreters of vibration through your physical senses that you do not even realize that you are doing it. What you see with your eyes is a vibrational interpretation. What you hear with your ears is a vibrational interpretation. Even what you smell with your nose or taste with your tongue or feel with your fingertips. This is all because of your ability to interpret vibration. And because you were born interpreting, you tend to now conclude that what I interpret with my physical senses is reality. And what we are wanting to assist you in understanding and coming to as a result of our interaction here today is that you have the ability to interpret vibration far, far, far beyond these physical senses. And when you begin to attempt to sense vibration from that broader interpreter, which we would call your emotional center, then you begin to get a true reading of who you are. Then, and really only then, do you begin to understand the relationship that you have between yourselves and the non-physical energy. You are extensions of non-physical energy. You stand here in these physical bodies as extensions of much broader, older, wiser knowing. And so as you are projected here in this leading edge, and we really mean that, you are truly leading edge creators on the leading edge of thought. As you stand here in this leading edge environment, perceiving the contrast of this time-space reality, out of that which you are perceiving, out of the contrast that you are giving your attention to, you continue to conclude or to determine new things. And as a new idea or a new desire is determined within you, the non-physical energy that creates all things comes forth in answer to that. We are all part of a universe that is attraction-based. There is no assertion. And what the attraction means is that everything is coming to you. Nothing can be pushed away from you. There is only inclusion. There can be no exclusion. And what that means to you in a very personal sense is that when you look out into the contrast and you see those things that you would like to have in your experience, and you see something wonderful and you say, oh yes, I'd like some of that, by your attention to it, not by your words yes, by your attention to it, you include it in your vibration. When you see something not wanted and you look at this awful thing and you say, no, no, I want not that. Get that away from me. By your attention to it, not by your words, you are including it in your vibration. So it turns out in this vibrational universe, there is no such thing as no. There is only yes. So we would like to encourage you to begin to pay attention to the way that you feel in order to understand whether you are in this moment allowing the fullness of who you are to flow through you or not. If you are allowing the fullness of who you are to flow through you, you feel clear, you feel good, you feel eagerness, you feel enthusiasm, you feel joy, you feel appreciation, you feel what you would call love. If you are not allowing the fullness of who you are to flow through, then you might feel something that you would call aggravation or frustration or disappointment or blame or guilt or even hatred or strong depression. In other words, the emotions that you feel are your true indicator of your connection to this source energy. When you feel the feeling that you would call passion, what passion means is you are in this moment a true extension of the non-physical energy that is you. In other words, when you feel the feeling of passion, what passion means is something in your environment has caused you to focus or conclude a very clear desire. In other words, when you feel a feeling like passion, it means there's strong wanting going on within you. And in the feeling of passion, it means that there are no contradictory thoughts within you that are not allowing the desire to flow fully through you. When you feel a strong emotion like hate or rage or strong depression, any of those strong negative emotions, what that means relative to your desire factor is you still have a very strong desire going on within you. But the feeling of strong negative emotion means you are in this moment holding a thought. You have included some thoughts that are not vibrationally same as the desire that you hold. So what that means is you are including vibrations that are serving as resistance, that are not allowing the fullness of who you are to flow through you. It is important to understand in this vibrationally based universe that is based on the law of attraction that there is no such thing as exclusion. There is no such thing as pushing something away. And so that means every time you look at something and you gather great energy as you say, I really, really, really do not want that, what you're actually doing is holding yourself really, 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 really in vibrational harmony with this thing you do not want. So you have set up a resistance factor within you that is disallowing the fullness of that which would be there otherwise. And so the basis of your universe, the basis of everything that all of us are about, is this law of attraction that is based upon this law of allowing, which means I as an individual, whether I'm physically focused, whether I'm non-physically focused, whether I'm the one-celled amoeba in the ocean or the fully functioning human genius, it does not matter where I stand or who I am. Wherever I am consciousness that is perceiving. And as I am perceiving, I am vibrating. And as I am vibrating, I am attracting. And law of attraction is this incredible manager in the sky. Not really in the sky, but it gives you a sense that it is this universal law, this manager that says that which is likened to itself is drawn. Good. Now you know everything we know. You're ready to begin? You are ready to begin. Here, then here, then here.
This is very exciting for me. I'm wanting to heal the wounds that I carry from my father, the emotional wounds. My question is, how do I go about that?
We would begin by saying to you that all of your power is here and now. And the way you feel in any moment has to do with what you are choosing as your object of attention. So when you look at it from that perspective, nothing that has ever happened before now need affect the way I feel if I have the ability to focus other than there. In other words, as I'm standing in my now, that's where all of my power is. Now, what do we mean by power? All of my power of allowing my well-being is right now. It's right now. Here it is right now, all of my power. Now, I can focus on past, present, or future, but the choices, whether I am focusing past, present, or future, are all about whether I'm choosing something that feels good as I'm choosing it, or whether I'm choosing something that does not. So the bold answer to your question, it's not always the easiest thing to apply, but the very specific answer to your question is, If you find something in your now to give your attention to, you cannot possibly find pain about something that happened at another time, because you are now not using that as your excuse not to let it in now. What happens, however, is that you are vibrational beings who are offering a habit of vibration. It's like you've got a motor running and it's always being offered, and it is sort of the mix of what you think about a lot of things. It is the mix of what you believe, and it's the mix of what you want. It's the mix of what you perceive. It's about your focus, and focus is about consciousness. Focus is about thought. Focus is about energy. In other words, there are lots of words to describe it, but whatever it is that I'm perceiving right now is what is representing my vibration, and my vibration is being answered by all that is. So as you stand in your now and you are thinking about something lovely that happened in the past, now you are choosing something as your point of attention that causes you in this moment to be open and allowing the fullness of who you are to flow through you. But if you are remembering something awful from the past and you hold that as your object of attention, now you're using that as your excuse not to allow the energy to flow. So the logical answer is, well, just don't do that. Just think a thought that feels better. Sometimes our physical friends get a little irritated with us as we are wanting to guide you toward more pleasant thoughts, and you have a good reason to do that, because in truth, because law of attraction is what it is, sometimes you don't have access to that bright and fluffy thought because you've been practicing another thought that has become so familiar that it just leads to another thought like it, and another thought like it, and another thought like it. In other words, when you're little and someone is bossing you around or someone is demanding of you, when you are living an experience where you are not able to consciously notice the correlation between what you're thinking and feeling and what you're getting, it's easy to develop patterns or beliefs that say, I am powerless in this situation and someone else has all the power. And that's the greatest discomfort that we feel within you, you see. And what we're wanting you to understand is that you do have power. You have power to allow the well stuff in, the good stuff in. But you have to start practicing feeling good even under those extreme conditions. We think that what this relationship is about, and it may be hard for you to hear in the beginning, but as you chew on it and practice it a little bit, it will resonate with the very core of your being because you know it so well from that perspective. You've come in, even in that relationship, to understand what we and you and others have come to teach, and that is what unconditional love really is. People want to love. It feels so good to be in that place of well-being. It feels so good to be connected to source energy and having it flowing through you. It is a delicious thing, you see. And if someone is being lovable, it's easy to love them. Isn't it wonderful to have a lovable being in your midst? In other words, you just love to love someone. And isn't it awful when someone is not lovable? Wouldn't you just like to kill them for not being lovable? In other words, because when they are not being lovable and you are holding them as your object of attention and then you do not feel that feeling of love, that feels awful. But it goes back to this business of, are we going to encourage you to go knock down the radio towers, or are we going to encourage you to adjust your own tuner on your own set? What unconditional love says is that I want so much to be connected to source energy. What is that love anyway? It is the allowance of source energy. That's what that feeling of love is, your feeling of connection. It's me in my physical humanness holding a vibration that allows, rather than resists, allows the fullness of who I really am to flow through me. And so what unconditional love is finding a way to allow that to flow no matter what. No longer using anything as my excuse to not allow it to flow, you see. Most people do not do a very good job of teaching that to one another. Physical friends will say, well, wouldn't it have been nicer if things could have gotten really the way I want them before I get here? And we say, from your non-physical perspective, you did not say, well, I'll come forth before I get there, clean everything out, feather my nest just perfectly, so that when I come, I will only see things that make me feel good, and in my observing of things that make me feel good, I'll always feel good. From a physical human standpoint, that might sound like a pretty good idea, especially if you're standing in a different place from that. But you did not say anything like that. You said, I will go forth into this sea of contrast. And the contrast is so valuable because the contrast will help me to give birth to powerful desires. And when a desire is born within me, I will simply and softly turn my attention to that new desire, find vibrational harmony with it, allow the energy that creates worlds to flow through me in response to that desire, and I will have manifestation, and I will have joy and exhilaration, life-giving exhilaration in the process.